Good morning. What is going on, all you stylists from the break room? Good morning. We are talking about how AI is taking over. We ain't gonna need hairstylists no more pretty soon, huh?
It's the rise of the machines.
Ain't that gonna be fun?
I don't know. Do you have that video?
Yes. Give me a moment. Keep talking.
Okay, I'll keep talking while you bring that up. Yeah, Eddie and I found these videos online of these in Dubai. There's these haircut machines allegedly, but it reeks of AI. The videos, but there is AI that's coming in. There are apps. There are you can send your picture in and they'll give you your they send you back your best color and cha cha cha. And here it is. Here it is. Check this out.
I like how the band goes around her neck and all of a sudden all the hair just gets vacuumed away.
Yeah. Hair down to the middle of her back.
It's a perfect laying bob, even though she's leaning forward at a 45-degree angle. Yeah. Love it. Here. I love this one too. This one's fun. Head goes in.
Poof. Puff of smoke.
Poof.
Look at that.
Beautiful fade.
Perfect fade. Perfect fade.
Beautiful fade, right? Love it. Love it. First of all, if your hair poofs like that, you are toast. You ever open an oven too fast and your face is too close to it? You singe your freaking eyebrows off, okay?
I like when I saw that video and I sent it to you, and I know for a fact that there are a couple of fellow hairdressers that are like, did you see that? That's how I found it. Did you see the video of the machines now? They can map the head and they cut the hair and the hair is perfect. We're gonna be nothing but. I don't even know how to unpack this, so I'm just gonna
wait for it. I am so excited for that.
Do you know the money we're gonna make fixing stuff?
No way. You know the money I'm gonna make doing that? Because I'm gonna buy a dozen of those freaking things. And I'm gonna open a salon. Okay. And I'm just gonna be like the man behind the curtain for Oz, and I'm just gonna be pressing buttons, programming the crap out of every single one of these things. I'm gonna be doing 12 clients at the same time. Bring it on. What is your all-time record? I think I've done 5 clients at the same time. I think that was my all-time record.
This was back in the day. One of my fellow colorists fell and broke his leg at Christmas time. I had 2 assistants and I did 26 people in one day.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying you just joined. What's this about? We're talking about ways AI is supposedly taking over and replacing hairdressers. That's what we're talking about today. Now, I'm not saying how many clients did you do in one day.
Oh,
although that's freaking nuts. That is super impressive. 26 color clients in a day. I feel for your back. So how many were you doing at the same time? What were you doing? Like 3, 4 at the same time?
4, sometimes 5, because it was a bunch. It was a ton of single processes, a ton of them, most of them.
So, all right, how is, so what are different? So we just seen the video about, doing a haircut. Have you seen these other Okay, so those are obviously AI slop, and that's fun to watch. But have you actually seen the robot that they were making that was trying to give a haircut?
No.
Actually had the robot arms. This was at the time when the medical surgical robots were coming about, you know, and the doctor would sit there on the laptop and do like the precision surgeries.
Right.
And it's being used today. Like that's a thing nowadays. There are doctors that are using the precision robot arms to do
right.
So they get a hairdresser to do a haircut on a client, on like an actual human being. Okay. Guess how it went?
Awful.
But guess because why?
Because a machine only does what you tell it to do.
And it was told to do it precisely. It was so you know when you go to the airport and you got to stand in the full body scanner thing.
Right.
Okay, so they scan the head. They scan the entire head. Okay, and it punches it into the computer and it does all its calculations and all that stuff. And then you tell it take 2 inches of length off the bottom. And this thing can freaking go in and figured it out and everything, right? And then they had a barber or they had a stylist. I don't know who they had, but they had, you know, some volunteer stylist that was participating in this experiment. And the stylist was, I don't know if it was a man or a woman, but the stylist was monitoring the progress of what's going on. The problem, it almost did it precision haircut. The problem was the client freaking talks with their head. It must have been an Italian client. A bobblehead. So at one point it nicked the ear. At one point it nicked the back of the nape, you know, like the back of the neck. And I think it nicked the forehead when it was trying to do face framing or something. I don't know exactly. Like somewhere in the upper forehead area, they got nicked, you know? And so the 3 strike you're out rule, they like failed the experiment, but it was because the client doesn't sit still, not because the robot couldn't do it. So then they were trying to compare it to the doctors and be like, how come they do precision surgery? How come this thing can't do a haircut? Yeah, it's because you sedate a patient when they, you know, are getting cut open. So you can only imagine the amount of jokes that were being thrown around about sedating clients. Like how many stylists, like it went to the social medias, right? And social media was like, I'd love to sedate some of my clients, blah, blah, blah. And then some of the other stuff's like, half of my clients are already sedated when they come in. They're tagged when they come in.
Right.
Oh my God. So yeah, this is the biggest problem. You can't imagine robots taking over our field because humans need human interaction.
Exactly.
This is you are correct. This is the comment we just got. And you are correct. This is the #1 reason why every experiment for robots keeps failing, because performing the service, you had this statistic on a prior podcast that we did, on a prior episode that we did. Performing the actual service of hairdressing only accounts for 10% of the actual service. The other 90% is the interaction and the experience, the feeling, the conversation, everything else, the emotional impact that we sell and perform as a service duty when a client is sitting in our chair. 90%. And then you even said, to take that even further, of the actual service that's performed, only 10% of that is your actual skills. The other 90% is the bond that you build with the client. So if only 10% of it is your skill and only 10% of that really matters for how much of the service you're doing overall in the grand scheme of things. So like what, 5%? The robot's only going to replace 5% of our job. It's not replacing anything. That's why I said, let them come. I will open a shop and I'll line up a dozen stations with these robots, man. And I'll just walk around all day like a maitre d' or like a sommelier, someone in the area or a concierge in the area or whatever the hell they're called. I'll just be gabbing with every single person. I won't even have mirrors anymore because they're robots. I'll just have every station facing towards the middle. And I'll get myself one of those platforms like they do in the car dealership, spinning around. And I'll just be spinning around in circles, talking to every single person as my turn comes around. I don't even care because it got nothing to do with us doing hair. It's all about making them feel good about the way we just did their hair.
I can't even find a negative about anything you said other than there's the human factor of what we do of hairdressing. There is the human factor of, like you said, that relationship you build with the client, and also there is the human factor of doing of the service. I mean, there's things that you take into account that you unconsciously do when you do hair that a robot will not be able to replicate.
Let's teach the robots, such as.
I really think that when you look at someone and you have your experience and I have my experience and all of us have experience, I think that what's going to look good on someone cannot be replicated for AI. There are imperfections in all of us, and I don't think that the AI will be able to take that into account. That's one thing.
So here's my favorite thing. When a client brings in her photo, her inspiration, her inspo photo, and she's like, I want this. And then you say, like, what about that do you want? And by the time you're done with the consult, you are so far away from that picture.
Absolutely.
I like her eyebrows. Like at the end of that, all that thing is, I like the way she had her eyebrows threaded or whatever the hell was done, you know? I like this one streak. I like the color on this one streak.
Streak. You know? Yeah. Look, you know, you could take into, I mean, along those lines of the, you know, when they bring in their inspirational picture, you know, well, I mean, at least as humans too, we can soften the blow of, you know, well, maybe a little bit of this and a little bit of that. The robot, I mean, what do you do when the AI just goes, you're ugly?
You can't have this. Would not recommend it. Why? You are ugly.
Yeah.
Does not.
Might I recommend plastic surgery? You know, I mean, really. I mean,
which
like
we can do at the next station over.
if you you know, like if I stuck my head in that thing, it would be like, I am not a pet groomer, you know?
Okay, but come on, dude. How many episodes of the Jetsons have you watched? And you're like, I would love to stand on a conveyor belt in the morning and just get my hair done, showered, changed. We
are in the Jetsons. I mean, there's so much.
How cool is that?
I mean, look, you got cars right now that drive themselves.
It's wild. Okay, here's one I can get behind.
What's that?
We're talking about that Japanese shampooer, that head spa shampooer.
Oh my gosh. Dude, if I had one of those, I wouldn't take any clients because I'd be there just having water run over my head all day long.
But see, you're laying down, not moving. I think that's the key thing to it all. You're laying down, not moving.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that for a minute?
Sure. There's this Japanese company that makes a head shampooer, and it's this. You lay down flat, your head's, your back, you know, your neck and everything is supported, and it's this like it goes back and forth over your head and shampoos your head. Yeah, that's amazing. There was another one. I remember it was back before America's Beauty Show, back when it was the Midwest Beauty Show. There was another Japanese company that it was like you laid it like this 45 at this angle, and it was like a hooded dryer with all these little nozzles in it, and it would shoot the water onto the hair and then vacuum, you know, and suck and, you know, pull it out. That was cool too, but this thing, that it just looks so serene and relaxing. I mean, there's videos of it, and it's not AI; it's for reals.
No, that
Um,
one is for real. The one you're talking about is a halo ring, and it goes
yeah,
back and forth, back and
yeah,
forth.
yeah.
There is another one that has spinning, like rotating, spinning jets,
Oh,
and it
cool.
can, and it, oh yeah, and it can go all the way. It's like a car wash, bro. So like you could really get it. It uses the water pressure to give you the massage. It's freaking. I want to get in on that one. The head
We
spa
do,
one that you're talking about with that halo ring. I want to start performing those services. I want
dude.
to get trained. I want to start doing those.
So it's like a car wash. So what do you shrink wrap your client and
Hey,
just
you know what? I'm all for it. I am all for
just
it.
put them on the conveyor belt and run them through?
It'd be awesome.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, it'd be awesome as hell.
but we're
What
getting
is your? I know you don't got the hair, but you do like the water pressure on your head. Like when you're
absolutely,
taking a shower, do you not enjoy water pressure?
dude. I just reinstall. I just put a new shower head in. It is about this wide. It's a big giant square, so my fat self can actually be underneath it. And oh man, I tell you what, my water bill has doubled. My wife looked at it and she goes, why do we need this? I'm like, go take a shower and you tell me. She came
Yeah.
back out. She's like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah.
We
So
went
what?
we went on a trip.
There's something about warm water on your head. How many times have you brought had a client go back in your shampoo chair and have them go, this is my favorite part. I don't even care if my hair comes out. Someone else shampooing my hair. I
Every
mean,
time.
AI is not going to be able to replace that. There's just no way. There's just
Get
no
it?
way. And
Yeah.
then let's talk. Okay. So let's talk about some of these programs that are out there, like the hair color program, where
That was so fun.
you upload your picture. And now this was back in the late 90s. We used to have this guy that came into the salon. People would pay $20. They would sit down, he would snap a picture, and then print out your face with all these different hairstyles and hair colors. I mean, it was the most hokey thing in the world. And the light was always so bad that the color never really you never really got the full effect of it.
That thing
But
was
I
so
guess
fun.
there are some apps out there now that it's a little closer to reality, but it's still got that flavor of AI to it, for lack of a better term. Um, where you're looking at it, you're going, yeah, well, maybe we could. I mean, it's inspiration. I understand that. I'm sure we're getting comments going, yeah, but nothing's gonna beat, as far as I'm concerned, still to this day, nothing is gonna beat a full on, even a 5 minute consultation with your client with a couple of swatches and coming up with and AI is never gonna come up with, oh, you know what? If we put a couple highlights here, or if we do a little more dimension and things like that, because that's all on our experience and things that we've built up in our computers that are our brains. So I like it. I'm okay with these programs and stuff for inspiration, for ideas, but still, once again, okay, so you're going to go to this app, you're going to get this color. Yeah, okay, I'm going to do this color and this cut. And then what? You're just going to stick your head in a machine and it's going to do it for you?
Yes. Yes, it's gonna pinball like spray paint. It's just gonna spray. It's just gonna go poof. It's gonna spray. It's gonna blast your hair. Here's one of the things about that. I was doing a consultation. Well, we're knee deep in it now, man, with the holiday rush.
Right?
So Saturday, client comes in and I'm going, okay, first of all, she's late. So she sits down. I'm going, all right, come on, quick consultation. Let's go. Right now, she wants a whole freaking complete overhaul. I'm like, of course you do. Of course you freaking do right now. She starts asking, first of all, she's very fair skinned. She makes me look like I have a tan. Okay. Beautiful, milky white skin. Beautiful. Very,
She's
very
translucent.
bro. You could see the veins in her skin. Like she's so, yeah, very, very fair skinned. Okay. Very nice. Very, very nice. The problem is She wants to go darker, darker, like myself, darker. All I'm thinking about is Elvira. And I'm going, oh, this is cool. This is so cool. So I'm all about it. I love the goth look and everything. I'm like, oh yeah, let's go. Then reality kicks in. My stupid little pea brain kicks in. And I'm like, all right, wait, man, we can't do this to her. Madam, are you willing to change your makeup? Are you willing to put on some bronzer or a tanner or a foundation or anything? She's like, no. I'm like, well, then you're going to look hot for a wrong reason. I said, unless you're secretly a goth I don't know about. She goes, oh my God, no, that's disgusting. I'm like, that's what you're asking for. And this is the thing, right? So many times you use those filters and you use those paints and you use those programs that change your color and everything, and it looks fun, it looks cool, but it's only using your picture as it is that you've uploaded. It's not taking into account different ways you do your makeup. And in that picture, had you had your makeup done, or was that your natural face, or is that how you were always going to look? That's the difference.
Right.
Changing your hair color, like you're saying, changing your hair color completely changes your entire face. Doing your makeup changes completely your entire face, how you look, all your facial features and everything else. That's one of my
classic lines to one of my client is when they want to do a massive change is, are you going to be changing your makeup? Well, no. Why? Well, because whatever, if you're going to go super dark, you got to change your foundation, the whole 9 yards, because your skin tone and this, or you're going to look dead, or vice versa. Or, are you're going to have to use a little less bronzer so you don't look like the neighbor from Something About Mary, it's all those things that are going to have to take into effect, play into effect with AI. Now, hopefully, I'm long retired when those machines come around, because I don't want to deal with that. When people are going to be calling because they got goofed up by AI because God, I'm itchy today. What is going on? It's because the air is so dry here.
You're talking about robots. They're messing with you.
Oh, it's got. Look, like I told you earlier when we were kind of talking about this. I'm waiting any day Arnold Schwarzenegger is coming through the door going, dead or alive, you're coming with me. It's AI has its positives, but with what we do, I think it's just another way that people are going to need hairdressers more.
So here's my curiosity. So let's just say hypothetical. Let's just say this is a thing. Okay. Client walks in, they do the consultation robot, and it does some weird, whatever the hell it does. Okay. And then it figures out an acceptable margin of error and whatever. And the client's like, yeah, I want, I'll take a number 2 with fries,
Right.
And then, okay, now they go back. Madam goes back to the shampoo bowl. She lays down. She gets this beautiful head spa massage thing, which I'm all about. That one I'm all about. I'm all
Let's
for
go.
That. Yeah. That if there's anything cool that I don't mind is not having to break my back doing shampoos anymore. I like shampooing, but not. Then what do we do? Shampooing my first 2 clients. By the third one, I'm tired and my back hurts. Okay.
Look, so what are we going to do with assistants? We won't need assistants anymore.
No, you still need assistants. The assistants. Oh no, you still need assistants.
Why? There's going to be machines to fold towels and clean bowls and things like that.
How many of your clients jump out of the shampoo bowl when you're done? So, like, you either have a client who doesn't want to get out of the shampoo bowl,
all of them,
or you get a client that as soon as the hose turns off, I'm trying to get the towel to wrap it, and they're already jumping out, and they're just water. There's just water freaking flying, trailing right behind them. I'm like, girl, hold it, time out. Like, who's in the rush here? You're racing to go back to sit down and not move? Like, just calm down for a minute, okay? So you got that part of it. All right. And then we can get like a Roomba to mop up, I suppose, if we're going all robots. So she gets shampooed. Now she's back in the chair. What is happening? So this thing is going to go in and it's going to blast her with an all over color, like a global application.
Yeah.
And then is it going to do wet on wet foils? Like, how does foiling work? So here's my two questions. How does foiling work? And how does it account for density? Like porosity, okay, it's a computer. Maybe it can measure hydration levels in the hair, blah, 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 blah.
But
Texture,
density,
maybe it can figure out texture, blah, 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 blah. But how does it figure out density? Meaning, if the consultation says, I want this, and this thing has like 5 or 10 or 12, I don't care. However many streaks of highlights coming down, right? Then doesn't the computer have to be like, I have to put, I measured your head and you have, 6 inches from forehead to crown. So therefore, I need to install 7 foils on you. But then when you're combing through a client's hair, and if they got some crazy ass colic going on and it's the natural growth patterns going the wrong way or the opposite way than you want, or they're thinning in certain areas and other areas they're not. So they're doing, like we kind of adjust and shift, and you put the highlights in some places and you purposefully leave one highlight this far apart. And then you purposely leave the next highlight that close because you're trying to optical illusion the damn thing to cover up the mess.
Right. And really, since we're going hypothetical, think about foiling around the face and how hairlines are so different for each possible person. What is that going to look like?
How does it do it? Like, what is it? Flowbee? It like flowbees your hair out. And then like how does it flow? Some hair is so thin and so staticky. Like, how does it get all that hair? I really want to know because I want that trick because I want to do it.
I see that was my next comment is I want to know what they're factoring in for that so I can replicate it myself.
Right. Inquiring minds need to know.
Dude, because come on, how many times have you taken foils out and you've been like, hold on, I got to put a low light in here.
Right? And then how do you keep the client's head still so when you're trying to get close, you don't bleed through and holiday, like make zebra strikes across a freaking head. Right. I don't know, man. I have so many questions.
Nope. I don't. At least in our lifetime, I don't see that happening. I don't.
Oh, it's gonna happen. It's just how is it gonna happen? So that's color.
Oh, come on. How is it going to weave and take into it, like you said, take into account density and things like that?
No, I don't. I'm all for the weaving part because they have looms that make the carpets. So that's all.
Hair. We're talking about hair. We're not talking about a carpet.
No. What I'm saying is they have the technology for robots to do weaving, to make baskets and to make carpets and to make, weaving, stitching, things like that. Different. So I'm all for it. I'm just saying it's possible. The potential is there because if you pull a chunk of hair, if you pull a section of hair out and you comb it straight through, what's the difference between that and a block of string coming out? The computer, for all it cares, is it's just got to go in and do one of these things.
I think there's once again going back to the original statement of there's so many variables that we deal with when cutting in our jobs. I mean, and then and then it's going to have to take a density test if since we're going to go all the way through with this. How's it going to figure out blow drying the hair? How's it going to figure out what brush to use? How much tension? Because each hair is different. There's different amounts of tension you put on it when you blow dry hair straight. And then, or if the client chooses, I'm going to wear my hair curly today. So what is it? Does it have a bunch of different like diffusers and,
Yes. Did you see? We just played the video earlier. It goes in, it goes poof with a puff of steam, and then it comes out.
There's another video where it's a curly-haired African-American woman. The thing comes down, it's the puff of smoke. It comes up, and her hair is like silky straight, silky smooth. You know, come on. I at least, and like I said, at least in our lifetime, my lifetime is a little bit shorter than yours. I can't see it happening. And I just want to be. I hope I'm around just for the first one where there's a woman that gets stuck in the machine.
You're terrible.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. You know, it's like when you're halfway through the car wash and all of a sudden the whole thing shuts down. Or you're on the giant Ferris wheel, and the Ferris wheel breaks down and you're all the way at the top.
Stop. Don't even stop. That's no, absolutely not.
Think about the nightmares that are the nightmares that happen with human miscalculations in what we do. Think about the nightmares of some woman has box colored her hair for a year and a half, dark brown, and all of a sudden she wants to be blonde, so she goes into the machine. Yeah, I've never colored my hair.
Oh, I'm all for that. That I'm all for. Check this out. Okay, let's talk this through. Let's say the technology, if the technology on the machine was that advanced where it could scan the hair and then it can tell you how much percentage dye load is in there compared to melanin, compared to missing pigmentation overall. Think of the application of how cool that would be when we go to formulate gray coverage. Or think about like the corrective like you're just talking about. You know, then it would be able to calculate if I have this lightener and I want to use this developer for this long amount of time, how much pigment would get removed. It would be able to calculate. Imagine if it could calculate what contributing pigment you would get to, like what level of lift you would get to based off of the read on the scan. Oh, you just convinced me. Now I'm going the other way. I'm all for the robots now. I was against the robots with you. I'm kind of going for robot. You're kind of swaying me now, dude.
Okay, well, whatever. I just see. Look, they don't tell us the truth, and that's face to face. Clients, they think they're going to be able to BS a machine.
Clients never lie. What are you talking about?
Of course. Yeah, that's right. I forgot. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly. I forgot. Of course. No, I don't use box color on my hair. This is my natural. All this gray, all this quarter inch of gray is just started.
My favorite. I have virgin hair. I haven't colored it in 6 months.
The box said it was shampoo out. There's no color left in it. It said 12 shampoos.
So that'd be wild, man. That'd be pretty wild.
That'd be
I want to see this thing install hair extensions.
That was, dude. Why did you just took my next subject? How amazing.
I want to see this thing do heated keratin bonds. I want to see this thing do that glued UV light stuff. I want to see this thing do tape-ins. I want to see this thing do beaded. I want to see this thing stitch a weft, a hand-tied weft in. I want to see this thing try to contour. Okay, no, I'll give it. Like I said, I'm going to try to argue for the robot. Let's play. Okay. Pick one type of hair extension real quick.
Well, let's talk about our favorite, which would be beaded.
Your favorite is beaded. So no, I'm a carrot. I'm a K-bond.
I know you are. That's why I said it.
Bond. I love beads are fun, but by my favorite, no, keratin bonds are my favorite. But I love me some beads.
All right, we'll talk about keratin bonds.
No. So with the beads, how? Okay, so it can contour, it can section clean. Let's just give it that. Fair is
okay.
fair. all things being the same, it could. I'll even go one step further. The robot could probably section the hair cleaner than we can, more
Oh,
precisely
absolutely.
than we can. You know?
I'll give it that.
I'll give it that. Let's give it that. Okay, fine. Now it sets it up. Everything else, it could probably position the weft into place way better than we can as well too. Okay, now you got to anchor it in with a bead. How does it know how much hair to take? Because earlier you were talking about density.
Right.
So if you need, say, like 30 strands of hair, and in that section there is only, I don't know, 10, it's a very real thing that happens. So sometimes you dig a little deeper to borrow some hair from underneath that section. Common mistake, a lot of people go they go sideways to borrow hair and pinch in. Terrible idea.
Painful idea for the client.
Extremely painful idea for the client. You're asking for, this is not a hair extension class, but yeah, terrible idea. Do not go sideways and pinch in. Go down vertically and take a little deeper section and apply at the lowest part for, this is not a class. Okay, anyways, point is, how does the robot, I can't help myself, how does the robot figure out how to compensate for that density issue in that section? Or does it just apply with whatever it's got to work with? And then the tensile strength of that section is weakened, which can lead to breakage, which could lead to problems, and it can snowball effect down the line. That's one part of it. The other part of it is, what beads is it using? And how is it threading the hair through that bead? And how tight is it crushing the bead, like compressing the bead? Or is it crushing the bead? And is it tightening it so hard?
They're getting scalp in the bead?
Yeah. Well, okay, let's just say it performed the application correctly. Yeah. It went, quarter of an eighth of an inch off the head. It natural fall. It followed everything, all things being equal. How does it compress the bead so perfectly? Like, how do you get it out?
That was my next question.
Robot, how do you get it out? Because there are some beads are aluminium, however you say it. There are some that are copper. There's some copper. There are some that are metal. Some have the silicone lining in them. Okay.
Right.
If you crush the crap out that thing, how do you open it up? And how does the machine do it perfectly? Maybe it can. I don't know. But how does a human go in prematurely, let's just say for whatever reason, and we don't have access to the robot? How are we able to undo that? Can we undo that? These are questions. These are all situations and questions. And then how is this thing? Okay. I mean, it's doing surgery. It's doing stitches. So I'll give it, maybe it can go in and maybe it can sew a weft. I don't know. What do you think of that?
I don't, because I think that it would be incapable of that. First off, being able to thread, how would it be able to thread that little bead over that thin of a section of hair, first off? And then like you said, then how do you remove it? It's got to be, you need a human. The machine's not going to have the dexterity to lift that weft and then pull each bead. No, it's not going to be able to do extensions. Now let's go to keratin bonds. Just use keratin bonds as an example. Okay, so it can map the head. It can put the bond in. Okay, and it'll probably put the bond in a lot better than I could, or half of those of us that do extensions, because then there's you guys that do perfect little freaking sandwiches. I almost said the F word there. But then how do you take them out?
If there's a robot that can remove keratin bond extensions, I'll buy it right now. I will volunteer to help play test that thing right now.
But I'm going to go back to my initial statement when we started talking about AI, and especially with keratin extensions, and if you're going strand by strand, it's not a uniform application, is it? Because sometimes you're going to go a little heavier in spots, and And do you see what I'm saying? It's not a uniform application. And then what? Then what? That head mapping gets saved to some file. You got if you had hair extensions, the Eddie Ohanian file. So it's going to know where each and every one is, and then go get it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what? You got to hit it with the solution, soften it up, right? And then
easy enough.
You think?
Let's just say yes. Yeah. Administering a couple, 3 drops, 4 drops of solution. I mean, look, precision. Robots can do precision. I guess that's the problem. Robots can easily administer. Yeah. If you fill it up, why? There was that formula, there was that color. I know we're kind of going back, but there was that color formula machine that can measure to the millimeter or to the gram how much developer and how much color to add together and then mix it up for you.
Right, but it didn't apply it.
Technology right now.
It didn't apply it.
No. I'm just saying, like you have the remover solution preloaded into a vial of this apothecary arm.
Okay.
And it's going to remove the gene seed from the hair. You know what I mean? Like,
you're going to be a Adeptus Mechanicus, and it'll have like all these little arms.
So I'm just saying, let's just say yes. In our hypothetical here, let's just say yes.
I think we're stretching pretty hard here.
No. I think it can apply the remover solution. Then what would it have to do? Some robotic mechanism to pound the bond to break it down?
Right. Well, that's the other thing too. That's the other thing. And then how's it going to know when it's been softened up enough where it could be pulled?
I don't know. That I don't know. And then here's another problem. Okay, so it does the head mapping, it scans the head and everything, and it's like, okay, you're going to have 85 bonds, or you're going to have 120 bonds, or 150, whatever it is, right? But then let's just say, no, let's not make it a nice even number. Let's just say you end up with like 113, and you have 7 bonds left over. Now, my client tomorrow night, for example, God forbid there's any hair left over. Her head is full, it's perfectly placed and everything. She sees a couple of strands left.
Put them in.
Put them in. Where? There's no room in your head. I just find a spot.
Yeah, we'll put it on your back hair.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy. So then the robot's going to be like, nope, and then you're going to have the client arguing with the robot, and they're not going to win that argument, and then they're going to be pissed off. Now you got feelings, and then you kill the whole interaction, the whole experience and emotions. Now what? Like, how is that a win?
It's funny that you bring that up, because I did our favorite hair extension client last week, and she got new hair, and this is what was left after mapping her head out and everything. Okay. And this is a beaded weft, guys, for those of you that don't know.
And she's from a beaded weft.
Yeah, segment of what she sees this, and she goes, well, can't we find a place to put that in? She goes, I paid for that hair. I'm like, I told her, I said, do you want to take this with you? Here, you can take it home. You can sit and watch TV and just pet it. But that's exactly what you're talking. Now, how is she going to argue with the machine?
All right, what about a perm?
It can't. You can't. It can't perm. It can't.
It can't wrap hair?
It can't wrap hair. You're going to, unless, you're going to have them completely cranked down, where the scalp is bulging up. No way.
So you're going the same thing like the roller set.
Same thing, because each scalp is different. People have looser scalps. People have tighter scalps, right? No way. No. Yeah. No. Perm. Now we have the lady next door. She's this little Asian stylist, dude. She's doing like 7 perms a day. She's got two of the perm machines. Nice. She's cranking. Yeah, I mean, she's got what a business. But she's got the machines, because it's mostly Asian hair she's doing, and they have those. It's like the old octopus machines, except they're new.
those things?
But she has newer versions of them.
Oh, I was like thinking, I was going to ask you, like, what are you talking about? Dude, that's wild.
Yeah, but think about it. But then think about it. Clients would probably have to come in with all of this. They would have to come in beforehand, right? Do the scan, let Chat GPT chew on it for a while, right? Or whatever it is. And then as Eddie the stylist, who has 12 hair machines, you're gonna have to make no, it's not gonna work. I'm sorry, I don't believe it. Yeah, it can be as precise as it wants. Look, when I get my knee replaced in February, the doctor's using a robot to do it. Okay. I'm hoping I get a human new joint, not a pig joint. But that's one thing. Doing surgery and stuff like that is one thing, but there's too many variables.
How do you even make sense right now? Do you trust a robot to cut you open and replace body parts? So you're all for the Adeptus Mechanicus changing body parts over here and
I have no choice.
$1 million man.
I have no choice. It's either that
or it can't blow dry your hair.
It's either that or they're going to be wheeling me around like freaking Hannibal Lecter on a freaking two-wheeler.
But what I'm saying is you can trust surgery, but you can't trust a haircut.
Nope. Too many variables.
Too many variables.
Too many variables. No to machines. Yes to stylists, because we have more experience and there's way too many. Like I said, there's way too many variables with each and every head of hair.
You can't use experience as an excuse because the robots have the internet of information, which outperforms your experience. Now what?
No, it doesn't. No. I disagree. I will be the co-leader of the resistance of Skynet.
Against Skynet, not for
against Skynet. Yeah. I know, and no. All I'm saying is there is way too much that goes into doing someone's hair that a machine will not be able to do it.
So you're talking about perception.
Huh?
You're talking about perception.
I talk about whatever you want to put to it. Those of us that are watching this right now, though, you guys out there and you and me, we have a skill set that will not be able. Now they'll find some way to half-ass it but our skill set cannot be perfected like by a machine. No way.
At the end of the day, 1 + 1 has to equal 2 for a robot.
Right.
But for a stylist, there is a calling to this industry because 1 and 1 can equal 2, but you could put 1 and 1 next to each other and you can perceive it to be 11.
Exactly.
That's where the creativity, that's where the reality or the disconnect from reality comes in. And this is what it gives us as artists, stylists, hairdressers, however you want to call yourself. This is what sets us apart, and this is what makes us different from. This is why we can't thrive in a 9-to-5 cubicle. We can't do an office job. We can't sit. And I don't know how you teach that to a robot. I don't know how you teach that to an AI. You can feed it all the examples you want, and it can try to do mimicry as best as it can. But it cannot perceive inflection of voice, intention behind words. It's hard. It's going to be hard for it. There's a level of psychology that's involved when it's really psychological warfare. When you're sitting with a client doing a consultation and you're sitting there and you're trying to guide, it's like herding cats.
It's real simple. Yeah. And like we were taught, you're taught early on, is finding out what a client means usually isn't what they say.
No.
And a machine is not going to be able to make that distinction. what a client means compared to what they say, you know. And we always talk about like back in the early 90s when everybody came in with the frickin' Jennifer Aniston picture. Okay? They wanted the Rachel hair, right? I'm using that as an example. And they would come in and I want this. And then the minute you covered up Jennifer Aniston's face and you said, this is the hair you want? Well, it's a little gold, it's a little blonde, you know. And here's a great example that we're going to close this off with. When a client sits in your chair and says to you, Eddie, and anybody that's watching, I want to be blonde. That's it. I want to be blonde. Yeah. Okay. How many variations of blonde are there, Ed?
100.
How many variations? I want to be a redhead. Well, what kind of red? You know, there's all these things that the machine is not going to be able to take into account. And finding out what she means and what she says, and then also delving into why. You know, machine's just going to go, okay, make you a redhead, and then they're going to look like freaking Bozo the Clown, you know, instead of finding out that, you know, she just lost her job, or she just broke up with her husband, divorced her, or she divorced her husband. And, you know, there's too much that goes on with what we do. That's why we're in the coolest freaking industry on the planet. And thank goodness, at least, like I keep saying, in our lifetime, we won't have to deal with, other than I want a robotic freaking shampoo bowl.
Head spa all the way, baby.
I'm gonna start saving my tips now. I need 25 grand. And I'll put one in. But the problem is I will not be taking any clients anymore because I'll just be laying in that bowl.
I'm telling you. That's going to be awesome. At the end of the day.
Go ahead. Finish.
Let's say, at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. There is a lot. It's an interesting time that we find ourselves in.
It is.
Where with the way technology is moving, with the way things are going, it's a very fascinating, a very interesting time that we find ourselves in. It's fun now to see all this goofiness. It's equally as scary to see all this goofiness. Just don't obsess over this. If you start obsessing about it, you're gonna lose your mind. Okay.
Yep. Agreed.
Even even if the robots did tomorrow become available, there's still going to be enough clientele out there. There's enough population. I promise you, there's enough population of humans that live around you that still want to get their hair done by a human being. We are all going to be okay, fine. All right.
Yep.
So that's where we're at. Thank you guys all for watching. Check us out at htbbeauty.com. Go out there, make a difference, one client at a time. Have fun, y'all. Good luck surviving this holiday rush. Talk to you next week.
See you next week.
The SFTB podcast was not recorded in front of a live studio audience, so thanks for joining us for today's episode. If our hair topics made you smile, give us a thumbs up. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'll read them while waiting for our caller to process. Share this video with your stylists and friends. It helps us make a difference, one strand at a time. And don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Because your hair deserves all the latest and greatest tips.